Hi, welcome. Thanks for clicking this particular video. There's billions of videos you could have clicked, but you clicked this one. That means a lot. So I'm coming at you with another topic which isn't very, it's the substance is so small that I can't imagine to be very long, but who knows? I have a tendency to blab and blab and blab and blab, so who knows how long this video, excuse me, will be, but it'll be some length. So I'm coming at you today with a topic which is just called, shun the handshake, which is, ever since I don't know, I imagine sometime in my teen years, this thought occurred to me. I can't speak for the rest of the world, but I mean, in North America anyway, there's this fucking pathetic culture of handshaking. I mean, it's like in the professional world, or basically just any old fucking, you know, professional world and down and shit, and even just any kind of meeting people world or whatever. But this thing that's just over the years, and I don't know how it ended up happening, but it's just one of the many pathetic fucking things that are the norm in North American culture, which is basically just a handshake for I guess meeting people, good to meet you, and then it's just like you fucking touch, you're expected to touch, the hand of this person who probably uses that hand to whack off and hold their dick and wipe their ass and, who knows, do what else with, and it's just, I mean, if it were like touching elbows like Young Frankenstein, or even like touching asses, I mean, at least there's there's clothes on both of your asses, so it's not skin to skin. I personally, I'm not a germaphobe or anything like that, but I've got enough of the potential, whatever germophobic tendencies to. I got OCD. I mean, I had OCD hardcore. I still probably have just the slightest tinge of it, but I mean, I used to have OCD hardcore, not germ OCD. But anyway, I'm just trying to say that it's just like I just think it's so fucking nasty, that you're expected to just do flesh on flesh. That's the thing that is the most gross to me about handshakes, is the flesh on flesh. Like I say, if you touched any other parts, like chest to chest or hip to hip or ass to ass or whatever, assuming you're wearing clothes and those parts are clothed, I mean, at least it's just fabric on fabric. But it's really disgusting to me, and not even, like I say, not even being a germaphobe, just the idea of the handshake, and especially flesh on flesh, and especially what, probably the primary hand they use for everything else. Anyway, it's just fucking nasty. But not only that, I've talked about in high school, the last 2 or 3 years of high school, I took the only class which I would regard as being something that actually had, something to do with life after school, that I actually, that applied to life after school, which was the sales/marketing class that I took. Which, like I say, it was the only class that I can remember in my whole K through 12 experience that had any relevant or useful information in it. And you learned a lot about how, advertising and how companies just use fear to sell shit, which is the best tool to sell shit, by the way. And you can sell anything. I mean, religion, war on terror, taking away your rights, cars, soaps. I mean, you can sell anything with fear, and that's the best way to sell things. But again, I'm sidetracking. So, but what I'm saying is, the reason I brought up this class, this sales/marketing class, is because among the others, some more practical things, we were taught, by this particular teacher's opinion, good ways. And I think I did learn a lot of good steps about, a lot of good pointers about how to more successfully, go into and behave in interviews and stuff. And I think I learned a lot of good tips on filling out applications and stuff. And what I'm getting at is, also in this class, it was actually like a handshake. At some point we were actually taught, how to properly do, which is really fucking lame, a handshake, which is, of course, whatever this part of the hand is called, where the thumb and, right there, you know, instead of like grabbing the fingers and this and going like some kind of dainty woman or something, you just come together, this to this and all this and bullshit. I mean, that's the way, you know, we were taught to do it. Not that I try to avoid handshakes whenever I can, but I'm just saying that, I don't know, long story short, handshakes to me, which are probably no big deal, that probably people don't even, normal people, average people don't even think about handshakes, they just do them. It's just a natural, instinctual thing, no different than taking down your pants and pissing in the toilet, or you know, on the road or in the alley, wherever you happen to be. And to me, it's not that at all. I mean, it's much more sick, and like I say, that flesh on flesh is just nasty. And what I really hate about handshakes also is something I learned, you know, probably for the very first time, wasn't really aware of until that stupid, well, I guess it's not stupid, but until that sales/marketing class, which is this whole notion of, and this is one of the things I hate about handshakes whenever I have to fucking do it, this whole notion of like, if you have a weak handshake, you come across as a weak person bullshit. And it's just like, oh my God. So as a result, so a lot of people, probably maybe at least half of the people, maybe even more of, you know, more than half of the people you shake hands with, crush your goddamn fucking hand. And let's face it, I've only got one hand left. And I don't really need it crushed in a fucking, you know, courteous goddamn crushing, car crushing fucking handshake. And that's one of the many goddamn reasons why I just fucking try to avoid handshakes whenever I can. I think it's so pathetic. So here basically you have people crushing your hands because they're too afraid to come off like a pussy, so they're crushing your hands. You know what that says to me? That the people who crush your hands, who are crushing them because they're told that if you do a too light of a squeeze, then you're not confident. So you got to crush hands hard to show you're confident. To me, at the end of the day, are unconfident people, because it's kind of like people, you know, men and politicians and shit, in my opinion, who wear pink ties and shit. It's this whole notion of it's like reverse whatever. It's like, this is the deal. I'm so confident that I can wear a pink tie, which in fact, the actual, in my opinion, the case is, you're so unsure of yourself that you have to look so confident by wearing a pink tie, is what it boils down to. I don't wear ties, but if I did, I wouldn't wear a pink tie, because that shows how confident I am. I don't need to wear a pink tie to try to show how confident I am, because in reality I'm inconfident, so much so that I have to try to show how super confident I am by wearing a goddamn pink tie. And the same thing applies to, this is all just my opinion, like any video I do, so don't get all, you know, whatever if you don't agree. But I think the same thing applies to people with these really tight and gripping handshakes. You can spot someone who's a goddamn coward by if they really scrunch your hand, because this person by the handshake has to try to tell you that I'm very, you know, whatever, you know, sure of myself, and here's the proof. Well, to me, people who are sure of themselves like me don't have to show other people that they're sure of themselves, because only people who are not sure of themselves are people who have to show other people that they're sure of themselves. So to me, the crunching of the hand means that you're an unsure of yourself person trying to come off as a sure person, and at the same time making my hand feel not too great at the time. So in closing, fend for your fucking self, shun the handshake. And this is a theory, by the way, that I had, you know, way before I ever heard the song, and I was, you know, glad to hear the song. And of course, when I heard the song, I was like, oh yeah, right on, because, you know, this was something that I had thought of way before I heard the song. And when I heard the song, I'm like, yeah, man, right on, you know. So that's my advice. Again, I'm for thinking for everyone, for thinking for themselves and making their own decisions based on their own input that they've experienced in their lives. But it's just something that I, you know, personally do. And unfortunately, you know, the reason I don't fucking just shun the handshake all the time is because it's that horrible sense of, you can tell that you're gonna make these fucking assholes who are handshakers or extend their hand for a handshake, you're just gonna create a problem. And that's another thing in closing that I hate about when I would rather shun the handshake and not do it, is you feel like, okay, you know how there's this first impression bullshit. Not that I buy into that or care about that either, but it's just like I feel like by not doing it, you potentially can cause a bigger rift in this situation than just doing it. But of course, I guess I shouldn't worry about that, because if the person who extends the handshake has a problem with it, it's not my problem if they have a problem with me not shaking their hand. And personally, you know, I don't know. It seems to me, I've seen in movies and stuff, I prefer the Japanese version of doing it, where it's no taction contact, as it were, and just, you know, bowing to each other. I think is the much better way to do it. I think that this, you know, skin on skin, you know, bullshit is just fucking nasty. So that's it. You know, fend for yourself. Shun the handshake. That's something that I would recommend. Again, I mean, not to tell anyone what to do. That's what I try to do, and having thought about it more and in this video, maybe I'm, not that I can say I'm gonna never fucking you know, shake someone's hand again. I mean, I don't mind touching women's hands as much as men. As a matter of fact, I kind of like touching women. So I don't really mind shaking hands with women, because I like to touch women only with their consent, of course. So it's, I guess, you know, come to think of it, you know, shaking hands with men is something that I don't necessarily need to do, but I don't, you know, definitely don't go in for the whole whatever the fuck it's supposed to mean, you know, historic reason for doing it. I just think it's fucking, it's pathetic, I think, and it's lame, and it's unsanitary, and that whole aspect of crunching people's hands to show your strength, or to show your, you know, a sure of yourself bullshit is just actually, like I said, does the opposite. And there you go. Fend for yourself, shun the handshake, and I'll catch you next time.